Welcome live to Orlando, where Fox Sports proudly presents the Pro Volleyball Federation. Second meeting of the early 2025 season between the homestanding Valkyries and the Indy Ignite. And the Stars are certainly out tonight in Central Florida. Thanks so much for joining us. Now let's take a look at the current standings. 28 matches throughout the course of the season. About a quarter of the way through, and right now, the Vegas Thrill are the hottest, and among the youngest teams in the league, you can see Indy tied for second in the loss column. Orlando is tied for third, also in the loss column. And Columbus, the Fury, got their first win finally in their 8th match when they beat Grand Rapids last night at home. And speaking of the Stars being out, welcome my partner once again, 3-time Olympian bronze medalist Holly McPeak. I'm Paul Sunderland. You know, interesting, another busy week. These two teams played on Thursday, so a quick turnaround. Indy, according to their coaching staff, might have played their worst match of the year, and Orlando might have played their best. So what does that portend for the second meeting of the season? Well,
for Indy, they probably learned a lot about how they can get more focused on certain aspects of the game. First contact, more discipline with their block. We saw a week ago they were really good with their block, but they let it slip away. For Orlando, they had some losses early and have learned from it, and I feel like they're getting better. Every match they're playing their best ball.
And I mentioned, besides you, that there will be stars out tonight, two of the top setters, but also in the attack phase, two players who are certainly among the front runners in the early going for MVP.
Lecator member Mena for Indy is something special. At 5'8", she can dominate a match on both sides of the ball. She gets 33% of the offense for Indy, but she can also dominate in the back row, middle back. She touches everything. She gets up, big block stuff. She's put up MVP numbers so far early in the season for the Indy Ignite.
And on the Orlando side, and member Mena had 25 kills, won by Indy in the first meeting. And then on the other side, Brittany Abercrombie at USC, but now she's an experienced pro and has really, really been good as one of the newcomers.
Brittany Abercrombie came in with high expectations. 31% of the offense goes through her on the right side. So you're going to see her get a lot of balls in the front row and the back row, and she's put up really nice numbers for Orlando. But they also want more left side production.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Ren Athletics. First for Orlando, Shampoo out of Thailand will be the starting setter. Courtney Schwan, Adora Anai, very, very good bookends at the outside hitting position. Really connecting right now in the middle. Natalie Foster, rookie out of SMU, is scary at the service line. And Georgia Murphy holds down the libero spot. And for Indy, coming in at 4 and 3, Sydney Hilly, national champion at Wisconsin, currently leads the league in the assist category. There's member Mena, Nina Chajic out of Serbia, Ajani Teeler, a national champion at Kentucky, Blake Moeller, and then Carolyn Crawford will get the start also out of Wisconsin, and Kylie Murr will be at the libero. There is Lecator member Mena, the leading scorer right now in the PVF. You score points, service, aces, kills, and blocks, and we're underway. Chajic with the roll shot, very well placed by the young Serbian.
For Orlando, you can't be tentative watching that ball drop. The wing diggers need to come in and dig that ball. You don't want a tip to drop early.
Indy struggled at home, their first home loss. They lost to Omaha, I should say struggled. Omaha at 309. They lost in 3 sets, but it was very close, and Chajic really was not effective in that particular match. Looking for a bit of a comeback. Nice dig by Hilly. And Ajani Teeler off the right side wearing number 19, the Ignite, the visitors in their white uniforms.
We watched Indy Ignite practice today, and they did a lot of transition setting where other players stepped in and set the ball, and it pays off there for Indy on that point.
Yeah, excellent point about first contact as well. When we spoke with their coaching staff, that was something they emphasized. They're an undersized team to play in this league, so they need to pass the ball very well in first contact. Abercrombie showing some of that international experience, throwing that ball down into the weak spot.
Ajani Teeler read it, but couldn't get there fast enough. Brittany Abercrombie saw a little seam in the block, threw it down in the middle.
The expansion Indy Ignite, their first-year head coach, George Padgett. What a fabulous career he had at Concordia in St. Paul, Minnesota, 7 times part of a national championship team, and a very, very good serve by Adora Anai, 6'2", 8th-year pro, played her college volleyball for the Utes in Utah.
We talked to Amy Pauley today, and she thought Indy was susceptible to that little short serve, and it pays off early.
Yeah, Amy Pauley, in her second season in Orlando, told us exactly that, Pauley, and thank you for reminding. When we always ask, who are you going to serve? And Amy Pauley said it's not about so much the who, but the where. Area number 1, which is in the right back, area number 2, which is in the right front, to disturb their patterns. Here is Cece Crawford back in the starting lineup for Indy. Very, very good blocker. Abercrombie, smart. Hasn't taken a big swing yet. She's got 2 kills on 2 swings.
2 power tips so far to start this match for Abercrombie on that right side. She will get a large percentage of the sets, but Amy Pauley also said, hey, we need to get Courtney Schwann sets when we're in system.
There is Natalie Foster behind only Leah Edmond of Atlanta in terms of total aces. What makes her serve so effective, the rookie out of SMU?
One is the high contact point, and then the hard pace on the ball. There's balls getting on top of you so fast. Great movement on that ball.
It's a flat heater.
True.
I would not want to pass it. Perfect reception by Murphy. Dug by Chayic. Abercrombie, good block deflection. Chayic out of the back row. Anai got a hand on it, but Chayic got a piece of the block. Very nice transition score.
Indy attacking in transition. Nina Chayic out of the back row. Orlando puts a triple block in front of her, but she finds a seam, and that one gets away from Anai in the backcourt.
Chayic played her graduate season at the University of Tennessee after she transferred from Townsend. A real step up, and all she did was become a second-team All-American. That's a bad first ball contact. Ajani Teeler would like to have that one back, and Kaz Brown ate it up, number 11 in blue.
Anytime you get a free ball opportunity, you want to take care of the ball. This is just a bump over. Teeler takes it with her hand, shows the confidence, but pushes it too tight.
Working on Member Mena. Good block deflection, second contact by Anai. Off speed, that's dug by Moore. Kaz Brown, boy, this connection between Shampoo and Kaz Brown out of Kentucky is really becoming solid.
Amy Pauley talked about the areas that this team's improved, and transition offense is one of them. Shampoo feeds that ball so quick to Kaz Brown, she's able to find open court.
Tied at 5, opening set, best 3 out of 5. That one will drift just out of bounds. Remember when we spoke with Coach Padgett this morning about their most recent loss, their first loss at home to Omaha? He said, we were very tentative sometimes in what should have been good block deflection, first contact, get the ball up to the net. Johnny Teeler may be being a little too aggressive there. Lecator Member Mena, only 5'8", All-American at Pittsburgh, nicely handled by Anai. And that ball might have been going out of bounds. Maybe a block deflection off of Moeller, but again, nice kill. Brittany Abercrombie off to a very good start. Perfect pass, and Blake Moeller off the edge of the block, number 17 in white.
Indy has such a fast offense, and they're so dynamic on the pins that you have to put some service pressure on, and that time Orlando served the ball too easy.
Each team is allowed 2 timeouts. We will also have 2 technical timeouts. One when a team reaches 8, the next when a team reaches 16. Dug by Moeller. Member Mena out of the back row. Ajani Teeler out of the back row. Chayic looking to go high hands and missed it out of bounds. Block doing work for Orlando.
Orlando's block last time we saw them about 2 weeks ago was really good, especially on the pins. We're seeing that again tonight.
Kaz Brown, 6'4" middle blocker. Last year was chosen the most outstanding middle blocker in the PVF in the inaugural season. Shampoo, pretty good set in transition. Anai ball deflected, Chayic with a sprawl. Abercrombie. Murr with a fantastic dig. Boy, it is hard to put the ball away. Both teams very good in block defense. Dug by Teeler. Chayic unloading.
Sydney Hilly recognized that Shampoo for Orlando was way off the net and unable to get in position to block that ball. Great decision for the setter for Indy. Watch her. She recognizes that there's no blocker there, and Chayic with the kill down the line.
Franklin Sports is a proud partner of the Pro Volleyball Federation, coming your way on Fox Sports. Paul Sunderland, along with three-time Olympian bronze medalist and NCAA champion. And the stars are out tonight. My partner and my dear friend Holly McPeak.
Right,
and a very good start by both teams. 8-7 at the first technical timeout. Here is Hilly. Once again, the league leader in assists. Shampoo on the other side is in second. Chayic off to a very good start. Smart shot. Already has 4 kills, and you know the numbers from Thursday night.
Chayic really struggled on Thursday. I believe she was 4 for 38. Now already 4 kills early in this match. She's a really important part of the offense for Indy.
There you see the leaders in kills per set, and we told you the stars were out. Abercrombie, nice play out of the middle. Natalie Foster, 6'4", 14th pick overall out of SMU, and what a program is being built at SMU in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Natalie Foster has a special arm, and Shampoo gets this ball high enough that she can just go over the top. Tough to stop that high contact point out of the middle.
First contact by both teams, block deflections, and defense has been rock solid so far. Here is Shampoo, taken overhand by member Mena. And Cece Crawford, not known for her offense, so that's a real add for the Ignite.
I'm a big fan of Cece Crawford. I love the way she plays high volleyball IQ and finds a way down that seam, attacking down the line.
When Crawford finished her career at Wisconsin, she finished as the total blocks leader among all active players for the Badgers.
And she's an undersized middle blocker,
yes,
but gets it done.
Adora Anai ripping into the cross court.
The block for Indy was solid, but Adora Anai working inside. Watch the angle. You see the block on the right side of the court. She goes inside the left hand of Cece Crawford.
These two teams had a real battle in Fishers, Indiana, the home of the Ignite, a suburb of Indianapolis. That was on January 11th. That was won by Ajani Teeler and the Ignite 3-1. Crawford will go back to serve.
Ajani Teeler is so dynamic. She had a big night for them on Thursday. Look at her explode off the floor and doesn't try and go straight down, goes flat off the hands for the kill.
She had a huge night. 14 of 19, no errors in a losing effort. That was the first home loss for the Ignite, and that was a tough one to Omaha, team that hit 309. You saw Brooke Nuneviller leading the way offensively for Omaha, the Supernovas, but that was 25-23, 25-23, 25-22. Here is Foster again, looking to add to her total of 13. Oh, there it is. Thank you very much.
You called it. She lines it up. I was watching her practice today, that serve, and it is just flat and deep and tons of pace on it. If you don't communicate, that ball's going to hit the ground.
We were here for Foster's first ever professional match against San Diego in this building, and both of us, when we saw that serve for the first time, it was like, what was that? Remember, Mena into the cross court, nice dig by Schwann. Abercrombie, Murr. A little bit of confusion and miscommunication. Moeller was there. Blake Moeller with Ajani Teeler.
Kylie Murr is sitting in that line to dig that heater by Abercrombie. She's popped it up, but 2 different occasions, Indy has not been able to get a set and score out of it.
Tight contact, saved by Hilly. That was a little bit unlucky. That was a pretty good reception. Hilly did the best to give her teammates a chance, but just couldn't quite get it done.
Indy talking about it, trying to lock in. Really important to pass that ball in front of the 3-meter line, but not too tight. Let their setter run the offense.
Orlando now with their first lead. And oh, look at that. Boy, doing some damage. Oh, a reception winner. Another kill. I think that was for Chayic, her 5th.
That cannot happen. Come on,
no.
A free ball, especially when you have a teammate bombing their serve. This one pops off the platform. Everybody looking. Natalie Foster just late to get into that left back defensive position.
And Anai wanted to retreat to go hit out of the pipe. That was really a miscue. Elena Scott out of Louisville, one of the best in the business. Twice Defensive Player of the Year out of the ACC, on to serve and play defense. Yeah, you want to keep Foster on the line for as long as possible.
Yeah.
That was really a big mistake by Orlando, but they moved on.
But for Natalie Foster, she's also going to, if she's going to bomb the ball, she's got to run into position, be ready to play.
Good point. There were multiple mistakes for that ball to go down. Left side is blocked. Shampoo is going to celebrate that stuff.
When you're a setter, you want matchups. You want to attack the smallest blocker on the court, and Lekator member Mena tries to turn it down the line past Shampoo, and she is there to shut it down. Happy about that one.
That's an understatement. Having a good start.
I feel that.
I don't think Shampoo blocks too many balls. That was a major celebration. Right back to member Mena and saying, you stopped me once, I'll go high seam into the deep cross court. What makes her so difficult, not only to stop so far tonight, I mean, with a kill like that, but also so far in the year. She's having a fantastic season.
Amy Pauley said, look, Lekator member Mena is special. She's got incredible vision, but her fan of shots, she can use the entire court and pick you apart.
I talked to her before the match. I got lucky. I was walking around the court. She was at the water cooler, and I said, where have you improved since your All-American career at Pitt and a couple of years playing in Italy? She thought about it for a second. She, I think I'm better in every phase, and that's absolutely the case. She's become an expert receiver, and watch her now at the service line. 15-13 is the advantage. Again, we'll have a technical timeout. That one drifts just long. So we will have a technical timeout here at 16, and there it is, 16-13, opening set here in Orlando. Second meeting of this early 2025 PVF season between Indy and the Orlando Valkyries. Opening set in Central Florida, and the Valkyries on top 16-13. Volleyball fans, Fisher's Event Center in Indiana will host the inaugural Pro Volleyball Federation All-Star Match February 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to stop by provolleyball.com/tickets to be there in person. And if you can't, and you should be, fabulous facility, by the way. We were there last week. You can watch live on CBS, 1:30 Eastern Time. That is on the 22nd of February, the first ever All-Star game. And people have been lighting up the internet in terms of voting.
Over 11,000 people voted in the first time we've had the All-Star game. It's pretty fantastic.
Hitting efficiency right now for the Ignite, very good at 350. For Orlando, exceptional at 409. Schwann back to serve. On the slide, Moeller cross body into area one. Area one service area. Right front is area two. 3 middle on right around the dial.
Blake Moeller, the most offensive middle. Sharp inside the block again. We saw Taylor hit that same ball earlier.
Carly Scott, 6'1" outside hitter, played here in Orlando last year. Twice an All-American. There's the overpass. And CeCe Crawford knows exactly what to do with that one. We saw that earlier on from number 11, Kaz Brown, but now Crawford returning the favor. Scott, also an accomplished beach player.
She is. She came out and was living in California, doing really well, making her mark, and has come back to the indoor game and really enjoying playing with this talented Indy team.
Out of the back row, unloading member Mena.
The tough service pressure creates a free ball opportunity, and Lekator member Mena flies out of the back row, wrist away. Nice power on that ball out of the back row.
Murphy, perfect reception. So you got Scott in the backcourt, and then along with Murr, not out there just now, giving way to a middle blocker serve to Crawford. Oh, what a block by Chajic. And that ball, there's going to be a back row attack illegally by Orlando. So good response by Indy coming out of the technical timeout. 4-0 run. And timeout called by Orlando, now 17-16, opening set. Well, it's been conclusion of the first month of the 2025 PVF season. Try to update you each and every week with some powerful performances around the league. 8 teams. And Sydney Hilly, why not? National champion. And it's interesting. She told us now that she is fully and completely now back in, dedicated to volleyball. We'll talk more about that. Morgan Stout, really, really good young player for Las Vegas. And speaking of another, there's Cameron Hanna and then there's Hannah Maddox.
And they're both really important to the Vegas Thrill team. Hannah Maddox has been on fire 6 straight matches with 10+ kills. She just keeps getting better.
Las Vegas is leading the league at 7-2. They're very young. Charity Looper in her first year as a pro. Alicia Glass Childress, the mother of 3. And she won't mind if I say she's not part of the youth movement there in Las Vegas, but she's done a fabulous job. She brought her Thrill team in here to Orlando and beat the Valkyries.
Alicia Glass Childress has a great volleyball mind. You and I got to sit down with her, and she's helping lead that young, talented team out of Vegas.
There is Sydney Hilly, graduated in a program that I can barely pronounce. Sydney Hilly, genetics and genomics. She got her degree at Wisconsin and was out of the game, was working in the medical field, but told us last week that she is fully back in. And Eric Sullivan, the new coach of the USA Women's Olympic team, and I can call them that because they've already qualified for 2028. Pay attention. Perfect pass, Kaz Brown, dug by Member Mena. Chayic. Nina Chayic is off to an exceptional start. All credit to number 23 in white because she was, let me put it kindly, she was really bad on Thursday night.
She was, but she rebounds. Look at this crossbody down the line, catching Brittany Abercrombie by surprise. Really nice decision offensively.
Oh, nice play. Ball left a little bit inside. Shampoo looking to Anai.
Wow, Adora Anai came in hitting a rip ball, which is set inside the court and really limits the amount of court you have to hit into, but she hit that ball sharp inside the defense.
There is the Bolt 6 system. You cannot challenge in or out. It is all done electronically. Each team has 2 challenges per set. If you're correct, you have an unlimited number. Kaz Brown back to serve. 19-17. Remember, Orlando led 16-13 coming at the technical timeout. First referee looking at his monitor, confirmed that that ball was in. And yep, we're set to go. Good response by the Ignite. Transition opportunity. Anai again, cutting inside. Murr with a dig. Chayic going off speed, comes up a little short.
Indy is really good when they're in system and they can run that fast rhythm ball. That time, the timing a little off for Chayic in transition.
Chayic now 5 of 11, 2 errors. An error is being blocked on your own side or hitting a ball out of bounds. Perfect first contact. Crawford on the slide. Schwann. Anai. Oh, beautiful. Great variety to the offense of Adora Anai.
Adora Anai has such a big arm that if you're defending in the backcourt, she can accelerate on that ball so quickly, so you're back a little bit on your heels, and then the little short ball drops.
Anai now with her 3rd kill on 12 attempts. Member Mena, dug by Schwann. Oh, good set by the middle blocker. That was Kaz Brown, read by Scott. Chayic. Abercrombie got off to a good start, been a little bit quiet lately. Free ball, gotta have it if you're Orlando. Good first contact by Abercrombie. Anai again finds a seam.
2 soft shots that come up, and then Anai accelerates through the seam of the block. She's so hard to read when she gets on this ball quickly.
4th kill for Adora Anai. And you could see that Orlando was ahead in the point, but Brittany Abercrombie with a perfect first contact, doing well both on offense and when she's in the backcourt. So timeout called by Indy. Each team does get 2 timeouts to go along with the technicals as well. Mentioned the challenge system. You can challenge foot fault on the 3-meter line, the center line, and the service line. You can also challenge a touch off the block and a net violation. As you saw from Bolt 6 on that kill by Anai inside the block, we will not have challenges for in or out. Really good system.
We're at that point in the set where it's crunch time. You have to execute at a high level. It's a race to 25, and there's only a 1-point difference right now.
Remember, Mena has taken, as usual, some very big cuts, but good block defense so far by Orlando. The leading attacker in terms of kills per set at 5 per 1. Stanza 2 of 8 right now, hitting 125.
I've been impressed with both teams in terms of block deflections. Maybe they're not blocking the ball straight down, but they're getting pieces, slowing down the attacks, allowing their team to get another swing at it.
Indy did not pass first contact at all well in their loss at home to Omaha. 40% good or perfect, only 16% perfect. That's not good enough. 47 and 12 right now in terms of reception. That's a perfect pass. Ball set a little bit tight. Really good decision by Chajic.
When Indy passes the ball like that, I'd love to see them run a little bit more middle. They're so pin dependent, and their pins are very good. But I think you got to get your middles involved a little bit more.
Tied at 20. Here is Hilly back to serve. Well, you can see who they're serving. They're staying away from Chajic. Serving Ajani Teeler and Member Mena. Ball set a little bit tight. Good swing dubbed by Murph. Chance for the lead. Ducked by Murphy, making it look easy. A real battle between these two fine liberos. Chajic! Nina Chajic elevating over the top.
We've been talking about the block deflections, creating point opportunities. High deflection, Murph puts the ball in her setter's hands, and then Chajic quick through a big seam in the block.
Chajic already with 7 kills on 14 swings. Perfect reception by Juan. And there's that quick rip set down inside, and Anai knows what to do with it.
Orlando is recognizing that Indy is not moving the block inside when they set Anai, the rip set, which is 4 feet in, maybe 4 or 5 feet in, and Indy needs to make that defensive adjustment.
In rotation 1, that's with the setter in the backcourt. Teeler will hit out of the middle, which he did an awful lot at Kentucky. Kind of a hybrid middle blocker. Nice stab by Schwann. Chajic off the edge of the, she is white hot right now in the opening set. What a good response, again, after struggling on Thursday night.
George Paget said, look, she is so dynamic. She plays so vertical. She can score from anywhere on the court, and her serve is one of the best in the league as well.
The lead is 1. We've already had 10 ties in this opening set. Abercrombie, first swing in a while, and missed it out of bounds. Looking for a net violation, none called, and I thought so. We will have a timeout now. Amy Pauley, maybe a challenge. Yeah, we're going to have a challenge.
The entire team looked at Amy Pauley, and I believe they're challenging that there was a net.
We will look for a net violation.
Orlando is challenging a net touch.
Absolutely superb, and it's fast, and it's getting faster. PVF has done a really good job. The average challenge time now is about 20 seconds. It was almost 30 seconds last year. It's really a good job.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, I've reconfigured where the second official sits, so you can move the challenges on a lot faster. What'd you think, Holly?
I did not see anything.
I did not either.
I thought Lecator Member Mena's ponytail might have come back, but I didn't see any movement at the end.
And hair contact in the net is not a violation.
Is it possible Lecator Member Mena's foot?
It's possible.
That high?
It's possible.
Wow.
I think you're right, Holly. I think Member Mena's right foot hit the bottom of the net.
Wow.
But at least as far as the first official is concerned, it's not a violation. I don't get that.
That means she jumps really high.
That means, yes, that we know.
Really high.
Here's Chajic again. It's a 2-point advantage now for Indy. Working on Schwann. Oh, that's such a smart swing. What good ball contact, ball hand.
Are you kidding me? Adora Anai has that inside angle just so sharp and just money. The left back defender there and steal. But Georgia Murphy, the libero, stepped in and put up a really nice ball to Anai.
Good cover by Murr, and what a good swing. Member Mena, it looked like that Indy was in real trouble, and wow, Member Mena just banged him right out of it.
And Orlando relaxed. You cannot relax with Lecator Member Mena on the other side of the net, and credit Sydney Hilly for getting under and lifting it for her outside hitter to score.
Timeout is called once again by Orlando, and if you go back onto the Valkyries side, remember when Foster was serving and they let that reception by Chajic drop, and then they don't get a couple of blockers here up against Member Mena? That's how small the margins are right now in the top teams in the PVF.
And Indy learned that on Thursday night. A very close game, but just at the end of each set, it would slip away, and that's where you gain that focus. The margin is small. You have to take care of the ball when you have the opportunity.
Nina Chajic has been among the offensive stars and certainly leading the way right now for the Indy Ignite, coming in with a record of 4-3. And to say she struggled would be a massive understatement on Thursday night. And George Padgett left her in the match in spite of the fact that she went I'm going to stutter when I say 4 for 38.
Yeah. George Padgett said, look, we want our athletes to know that they're not on a short leash. We have confidence in them, but at the same
That leash is 100 yards long.
Yes, but when you've got such a deep bench, you know, as a coach, you can go to that bench and give somebody a break too when they're struggling.
And in spite, we focus on the attacking numbers. So she's out there as well because really strong receiver, and we've already seen her effective jump serve as well. Set point number 1 for Crawford and Indy. Anai, perfect contact. Foster puts the ball away. 1 set point save.
Natalie Foster, kill out of the middle, and now she goes back to the line where she's very dangerous serving.
Indy is hitting 378, Orlando and even 300 now after that kill. All right, so timeout, good one called by Coach Padgett right now, knowing full well what Foster can do from the line.
If
you're right, exactly right, Holly. But if you're Natalie Foster, she's a home run hitter, but also strikes out a lot. So what does she do in this particular situation with a set point on the line?
She has a green light to go for it. I think that's what makes her serve special. If she eases up at all, it's not the same serve.
I agree with you, and it's early. It's only the opening set, and we expected this to be very competitive all evening long. Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox Sports. Orlando taking on the Indy Ignite. Orlando, the Valkyries, coming off a really good win at Atlanta. Really took down Atlanta 75-55 if you look at the total points. So coming off one of their best performances, in Indy suffering their first home loss to a very, very good team from Omaha, led by Brooke Nunaviller.
Orlando hit 340.
Yeah.
I mean, those are blistering numbers against a very good Atlanta team.
So here is Natalie Foster. 13 aces on the year against 21 errors. Set point. Perfect pass by Chajic for the set win, and she's blocked.
Wow. Courtney Schwann, Kaz Brown, all over that, locked into their defensive assignment. Watch them get out, big press, shut it down for a huge point.
Had the green light, now she's got the flashing green light. And an ace!
The high contact point, and it's so flat, it looks like it's gonna go long, and then the bottom drops out. Wow.
14 aces so far on the season. Now, set point just like that for the Valkyrie. Perfect pass, good response, free ball coming for the set win. Abercrombie. Member Mena. Anaya's got it, tracking it down. Must have. Member Mena again. Did she get a piece of the block? Yes, she did.
Lecator Member Mena in transition swung really high, got the tips of the blocker's hand. Tying it up. Wow.
Fantastic transition swing by Lecator Member Mena. Tied at 25. Of course, must win by 2. Very well played opening set, exactly as we expected. So the second referee in the PVF is no longer on opposite the first. He's sitting at the table and helped on that touch call.
And that's the future. That's what we're going to see in the future. of volleyball and referees.
Easy serve, handled nicely by Murphy. High up into the block and out of bounds. Brittany Abercrombie, number 6 in blue, with a crucial kill, set point again for Orlando.
Ball set back, and Abercrombie goes off the inside hand to Moeller, going off the far court.
Tight pass, tough for Hilly, but well saved. Give Sydney Hilly the kill on that particular play. She'll get the assist, but that was a fantastic save.
Lecator member Mena recognized that Brittany Abercrombie was playing right back defense, and a little tip dropped short.
5th kill now for member Mena. He will be in the back row and very much available, mostly out of the center middle, out of the pipe in transition. Tough serve. Look at that pass by Anai. Hilly, first contact. Out of the back row to Taylor into the cross court.
For Indy, Sydney Hilly picks up the free ball, and Kylie Moore steps in, pushes out D-ball to Johnny Taylor. Inside that right back defender. Indy Ignite have been doing that all night long.
Second set point for Indy and member Mena. Tough swing here for Schwann, if a swing at all. Chaich. Moeller with a good quick reaction out of the middle. Like Moeller previously out of Purdue. Johnny on the spot to tip that down, but a good swing by Chaich once again to set it up.
Agreed, and Blake Moeller just cleans things up. I love her aggressive mindset to just get up, throw it down.
The opening set goes to the Indy Ignite, coming off their first home loss. They win at 28-26. Back with more right after this. Opening set goes to Nina Chajic and the Indy Ignite. And look, we're not belaboring the point. She played very poorly on Thursday, but got off to a quick start tonight and just kept it going throughout the opener.
Nina Chajic is a scorer, 23 out of the back row. She already has 8 kills, hitting .363, and credit Sydney Hilly for keeping her in rhythm. That quick ball out to the pin, and she's dangerous.
Well, the numbers offensively for both teams, but spectacular, as we pointed out, for the Indy Ignite. Orlando did have 1 set point, and we looked at the digs, and Indy in that category has been spectacular. You talked about how good all around Member Mena has been. She leads the way defensively along with Chajic, 23 digs to 16 for Orlando.
Looking at those hitting percentages, most teams will win if they're hitting over 300. Orlando, in that case, could not slow down Indy, and they hit better.
Fedora and I was rock solid in all phases in that opening set. Playing with a sore shoulder. You see the cupping on that right shoulder, and somehow Sydney Hilly would like to have that one back. That should not go down.
You look at the back row for Orlando. Schwann has an incredible platform, Adora Anai, and then Georgia Murphy as well. Really strong passers for Orlando in the backcourt.
Orlando at 4-4, currently tied for 3rd in the loss column. Indy tied for 2nd. Member Mena, perfect first contact. Crawford is dug by Shampoo. A little bit tight for Abercrombie, very smart, restart the point. Schwann still looking for her first kill on 4 swings, and now 5. And missed that out of bounds. Courtney Schwann, out of the University of Washington some years ago, an All-American career there. Right now, number 4 is 0 for 5.
Amy Pauley talked about getting Courtney Schwann some better swings in system where there's not a well-formed block in front of her every time.
A little bit of a wet spot.
There's your guy.
Conrad Volch, the fastest, hardest working floor wiper in Orlando.
Maybe in the country.
Maybe in the country. There's some competition. I know there is around the globe. Murphy, perfect pass. Oh, Foster again.
When we were here a couple weeks ago, Amy Pauley said, look, we want to work that middle connection. Shampoo to get our middles going. Look at this beautiful feed to Natalie Foster. Such a quick arm.
Handled by Chajic. Member Mena. Nice play that time in front of Natalie Foster. And Foster, young player, her first year out of SMU, and the ability to play professionally in your home country and be seen by national team coaches and other coaches around the world. She's making a mark for herself.
Well, the PVF creates an opportunity to continue to get better, and these players are getting all that experience and continuing to evolve their game, which turns out to be a huge feeder system to the USA Olympic team.
Yeah, and a couple of her other teammates out of SMU are also playing in the PVF and having an impact. Charity Looper over at League Leading Las Vegas, also a rookie, having a good start. Right side Teeler going off speed, easily handled by Shampoo. Schwann needs a kill. A rare setting mistake that time by Hilly, way too wide. Kaz Brown throws it down inside. Nice reaction by Member Mena. Very nice play at the defensive end that time by Orlando.
Yeah.
Nalani Yosia started her career at Texas, finished it up at Michigan State, coming in to play some defensive specialty.
And Amy Pauley using to use 2 liberos.
2 liberos, excuse me, not in as a DS. Thanks, Holly. I looked out and I went, wait a minute, I thought Orlando was wearing blue, and you'll see you can use 2 liberos. Usually you use 1 for defense and 1 for reception. So we'll see how Amy Pauley deploys both Georgia Murphy and Yosia. Short serve, overpass, and Kaz Brown. Good reaction by Chajic. Teeler through the block and down away from Kaz Brown.
That short serve ball to Indy. We knew we were going to see it, but Orlando missed the opportunity on the 2-hand throwdown. Chajic digs it, and then Teeler scores.
Talked about Indy needing to be in system so much more. You look at their outsides and their opposite. Teeler at 5'9" is playing at the opposite position. Nice cover by Anai. We've already talked about Member Mena a lot. Murr will get that Chajic, and really good hustle. Good pursuit by Indy.
And Courtney Schwan gets her first kill. Indy Ignite did not make it easy. This ball hit high, flat, gets a piece, and then every player on Indy tries to run this ball down.
Yosia back on it. It is as we thought. Yosia will be on when Orlando serves, and when they're in reception, it'll be Georgia Murphy, who passes good or positive 62% of the time. Member Mena off the edge of the block, starting to rack up a lot of kills.
And that time, Indy Ignite handles the short serve well.
Talked about the lack of real length on the size of Indy. Member Mena is 5'8". We talked about Ajani Teeler at 5'9", Chajic at 5'11". Elena Scott, the libero, or backup libero and defensive specialist, is 5'9". But she doesn't jump like Ajani Teeler or Member Mena.
Well, you don't know. You've only seen her in the backcourt.
She doesn't. I know she doesn't.
Okay. I think she's pretty special.
I think she would admit the same. Elena Scott is going to have a big career. She's a phenomenal receiver and defensive player. Really good pass by Murr. And Blake Moeller missed that ball out of bounds.
Blake Moeller crushed that ball, sharp angle, just missing wide, but Indy Ignite trying to get their middle going. This is a two-hitter rotation for Indy, and they're going to call a timeout. Down by 4.
Orlando Valkyries, it is time for the simple can. So if you've got yourself a little one, maybe you got your favorite drink in your hand, but put it up to the sky for the simple can. A special thank you to our sponsor, PVF.
Somebody getting some help with their blocking moves? I'm not quite sure.
That kind of gives me Titanic vibes, you know, on the front
It
of the
does.
ship.
Absolutely, absolutely. Orlando trying to even up this match at 1 set apiece. Nina Chajic out of the University of Tennessee, and the Indy Ignite won the opening set 28-26. Paul Sunderland. And Orlando back with my partner, 3-time Olympian bronze medalist and NCAA champion Holly McPeak. Kaz Brown. Good pass by Murr. That is a positive pass. Oh, that might have been going out of bounds. Chajic covers herself. Oh, really feeling it is number 23 in white.
Chajic that time turning the ball down the line after trying to go angle and getting stopped on the first swing. See her recycle that ball, cover, and then work and going over the smaller blocker, Shampoo.
Chajic now with 10 kills on 20 swings. Easy serve. And paying the price, not yet, dug by Member Mena. Ajani Teeler with a kill out of the back row.
Sydney Hilly does a really nice job spreading her offense, and having Ajani Teeler on that right side really helps.
Sydney Hilly currently leading the Pro Volleyball Federation in assists per set at 11.7. Also 3 digs per set. Blocks her position well and has 6 aces. Tight. Ooh, that was almost blocking the set. Orlando wanted a call there, but don't need it. Adora Anai. Stuff on Crawford.
Adora and I, you talked about it last time we had Orlando. She has got huge hands. Watch how she puts them over the net. They're just nowhere to go.
Nice, 6'2", 8th-year pro out of the University of Utah, has played in Turkey and Germany and South Korea. Last year also played in Orlando. Got a lot more help this season. Easy serve to Murr. Teeler out of the back row again. I'll tell you, if you take your foot off the gas at the service line, you're going to look at 75% first ball side out. You got to serve much tougher than that. Good work by Ajani Teeler. We'll give you her numbers. We haven't given that to you in a moment. Ajani Teeler now has 6 kills on 12 swings. Smart shot by Anai. Orlando back in the point. And that ball is blocked. A little turnaround is fair play on Anai.
Broken play for Orlando, and Indy Ignite just locked in on where they needed to be as a block defense. It's a bump set, only going one place, and Ajani Keeler scoots her block in, sets up that block, and Cece Crawford does the rest.
First block right now officially for Indy, as opposed to, or on the other side, 3 for Orlando. Indy won the opening set 28-26. Each team had a couple of set points. Natalie Foster tried to be the hero from the service line. That ball set back a little bit. Abercrombie, nice play. Nice tap down by Foster. Ball was legally in the plane.
Heads up play by the rookie Natalie Foster in the middle. Sees that ball sailing across the net. No blocker there. Just quick attack.
Orlando with a 10-8 advantage. They got out to the quick start. Look at Member Mena passing that ball right on target. Oh, that ball's got to come up. That was a good swing by Chayach. It wasn't a kill, but when I say good swing, what do I mean there, Holly?
Well, it was high, flat into the block, and coming back at an angle that you can cover. And I think the players on the Indy side just looking at each other, a little tentative. 100%.
That ball's got to come up. That will really frustrate an attacker. You make a smart swing, and the ball goes down, and it shouldn't. Crawford, that time off of Shampoo.
Sydney Hilly getting Cece Crawford involved in the offense one-on-one. She goes cross-body for the kill. She's a very talented player when you get her the ball in system.
Indy hitting 322 right now to 271 for Orlando, and that ball missed out of bounds by Chayach. Here is Natalie Foster back at the line, already with an ace at the end of the opening set, now with 14 on the year behind only Atlanta's Leah Edmond, last year's MVP. Another blistering serve. Pretty good set by Foster. Schwann looking for it, off her head, redirected and thrown down by Kaz Brown.
Way to use your head, Courtney Schwann. Stay in the game. Pops it up perfectly. Natalie Foster just puts up a nice apex, and this one goes off Schwann's head. Perfect location for Kaz Brown.
Yeah, very smart play by number 11 in blue, again last year's most outstanding middle blocker. Look at the serve down the line. Another ace for Foster.
It is really fun to see Natalie Foster develop her game. She only served her last year in college. The 3 years prior to that, she did not even serve the ball, and look at what a weapon it is at this elite level. Timeout
called by Indy, a wonderful point. Talking about Foster, yeah, collegiately, you can serve. Asia O'Neal was a magnificent server for Texas. You can, but usually coaches at the collegiate level with 15 substitutions. I know the libero doesn't count as a sub, but they bring their libero in, or a serving specialist or somebody else. So Foster, I mean, what a weapon.
Fun to watch, and again, another possibility, a player like Natalie Foster developing with possible USA future.
Each week, the Pro Volleyball Federation chooses an outstanding player, and Erica Pritchard had certainly been one of the keys in the improvement for the Grand Rapids as they were rising up the standings, along with Elena Ogilvy at the libero position. But Pritchard has been fantastic, and she was recognized as the player of the week. Pritchard, 31 kills in 2 matches, hit .352. And remember, Grand Rapids started 0-3, and now they're right back in the mix of the standings.
Kathy George told us last year, Erica Pritchard is an elite player, and she can develop into that 6th rotation dominant outsider. She's been playing really well lately.
14-9 is the advantage, and you want to keep Foster on the line as long as possible, already with 2 aces, if not 3 so far in the early going. Second set, Murr, pretty good contact. Ajani Taylor is blocked. That ball is up, but it won't be played on. Schwann with the block.
When Natalie Foster's on the line, the offense for Indy becomes pretty predictable because you don't have a lot of options. It's popping off the arms quickly, and that allows the Orlando block to score.
My goodness. Look at Natalie Foster. What a weapon. Timeout called signaled again, the second team timeout called by the Ignite. They got to find a way to get Natalie Foster off the line. We will step aside at the technical timeout. 16-9 is the advantage for Foster and Orlando.
I like to journal to manage stress as soon as I'm healthy, and also just take some walks outside. It's a really good thing. I reconnect with my family, make sure I have a lot of downtime to decompress reading, and I've found that like in the past couple of years, it just really like takes my mind out of things and helps me think outside the box sometimes.
Well, the young players here cheering on the Valkyries should go back and start practicing their serving. Natalie Foster, unbelievable. Is she going to serve for the 12th time? She's got 4 aces.
Big arm, nice pace, and I'll tell you, you can see that that Indy's stressed in serve receive because that ball's coming fast and hitting really good spots on the court.
To serve with this velocity, this trajectory, and serving in a lot.
With this consistency, I think the high contact point helps.
Look at that. There is another. That one handled by Murr, but still a tough chance. Shampoo, Abercrombie looking to extend the lead, and that's blocked. Over the top of the coverage, a little bit unlucky that time for Brittany Abercrombie, number 6 in blue.
But if you're Indy Ignite, you're happy to get Natalie Foster off that back line.
Tremendous serving run. And remember what she did. She served to save a set point in the opening set. Won by Indy 28-26. Tapped down by Kaz Brown. This time, usually likes to go behind, but this time in front.
Shampoo feeds her perfectly, and that's a one-on-one situation. Blocker has to choose which way or which part of the court they're going to defend.
Orlando with a big second set lead. Very easy short serve, not hitting a good spot. Member Mena, that's hitting a good spot as an attacker.
Amy Pauley talked about the challenge of defending Lecator Member Mena. She's got such a wide fan and ability to hit all the shots.
Member Mena now with 8 kills on 18 swings, hitting over 300. Really having a fabulous season so far in all phases. Defensively, she's among the leaders as well. 3.7 digs per set. That's 6th. She's an outside hitter. That puts her in there with all the liberos who are playing defense in every rotation, or 5 of the 6, if you will. Schwann looking for a kill, not there in the cross court. Good first contact by Murphy. There's Kaz Brown on the slide. Patented, good delivery once again by Shampoo.
Shampoo and her middle attackers have a really nice connection, and I love the pace of this set to Kaz Brown. Allows her to really attack on top of that ball with a quick arm for Orlando.
6 kills, 13 swings for the former All-American from Kentucky, hitting .462. If I didn't mention no errors for Brown. Orlando looking to add to a 7-3 run, still going short. Hilly, good save. Shampoo one-on-one. Second time that she's gotten Member Mena.
It's funny, hitters get really confident when there's a smaller blocker and they don't reach as much, and then Shampoo makes them play tight over the net, and that's a solo block for Orlando. Big point.
Very subdued celebration by Shampoo compared to the first time she got Member Mena.
She's like, it's old hat.
Chajic, fantastic swing out of the pipe. A Serbian and a graduate who played at Townsend for 4 years and then really stepped it up and played in the SEC. Was a second-team All-American. Having a very, very good start to her evening here in Orlando. Nice pass by Murphy. Again, Orlando playing with 2 liberos, Kaz Brown off the edge.
When Orlando uses their middle attackers, Foster and Brown, really helps take some pressure off Brittany Abercrombie. Brittany Abercrombie can score, but you want them thinking about every hitter on the other side of the net.
Tough serve, can't be saved by Hilly. So Orlando doing a really good job with their middle blockers from the service line.
I was going to say, this is a big trend across the country. We've seen at the collegiate level, but middle blockers taking pride in their serve and their defense.
8 substitutions as compared to 15 in the NCAA, and 8 compared to 6 internationally. Kind of a nice hybrid. Nice dig by Schwann. Really good dig. Anai into the cross court, and Kylie Murr could not get out of the way of that one.
Transition defense turning into offense has been crucial the last few matches of the season for Orlando. They focused on it, they've got better, and you see Anai with the answer at the end.
There was a try at an effective short serve. That was the game plan, as told to us by Amy Pauley. Wanted to serve specific areas, not necessarily a specific person. Carly Scott comes back on. He has played some defense. Elena Scott on the floor now as well. And on the sideline, and we'll get a shot of her for the Indy Ignite, is many-time All-American and ACC Player of the Year, Anna DeBeer. We'd love to see her. She would love to be out on the court playing. Serious ankle injury suffered in the NCAA national semifinals. Good play by Scott stepping in. And then the big night for Chajic continues. Mentioned Anna DeBeer, what a career she had, and really helped to put, along with several others, the Louisville program on the map.
Incredible.
ACC Player of the Year.
Fantastic pro as well.
Yep. She's good in all phases. And when we arrived at the building this morning, first to go to the Orlando practice, Anna, unfortunately, was still on the training table, working really hard to try to get back in the mix.
But she was able to practice.
She was.
Today, just working to get her explosiveness back again.
A very severely sprained right ankle once again in the national semifinals against Pittsburgh, and ruptured ligaments, tore ligaments in the lateral side and also in the medial side of her ankle. It's going to still take a while, but volleyball fans can't wait to see Anna DeBeer back out on the court. They know her very well from a wonderful career as a leader and a fantastic player at Louisville.
I will never forget her performance in that third set to lead her team. I mean, she was making plays, scoring points defensively, offensively to help her team upset Pitt in that national semifinal.
And speaking of Louisville, congratulations. It was never going to be a secret, but Danny Busboom Kelly has moved on to coach at her alma mater, replacing John Cook. Hall of Fame career, 25 years on the sideline, national championships for the Cornhuskers. And then Mary Wise steps down after 34 years at the University of Florida.
And then Dan Meskey, who's an incredible coach, taking over at Louisville.
Yeah.
So it's, lots of changes happening in college volleyball right now.
Well, in the last 4 years, Russ Rose is retired, John Cook is retired, and now Mary Wise. And Mary Wise, a Hall of Famer as well. The winningest female coach in the history of Division I volleyball. Abercrombie with a kill out of the pipe, dug by Scott, but Indy unable to continue. It's an interesting time in college athletics. Champu out of Thailand back to serve. Her name is Pornpan Gupard, but she goes by Champu. Has played most of her career in Asia, in both Japan and her home country. Big lead here for Orlando, looking to tie this match at a set apiece. Crawford on the slide. Abercrombie, nicely dug by Hilly, tight to Crawford. Schwann on the pancake, still alive. Chajic ripping inside the block.
We are seeing incredible defensive effort, both sides of the net. Little tip here, Schwann slides under just to get it up high enough, and then the free ball to Indy, and Chajic gets on top of that sharp angle, 4-4 for the Indy Ignite point.
11 kills now on 24 swings, 333 efficiency for Chajic. Very comfortable lead for Orlando. Good pass by Schwann. Remember, Mena, no. Back to Chajic. Hilly going to the hot hand. Anai into the cross court, dug by Murr. Good call by member Mena, good communication. And that ball tipped, and then unlucky that time by Adora Anai. She stabbed at it, but deflected the ball away from a pursuing teammate.
Orlando's got a nice lead, but you do not want to relax against this Indy Ignite team.
Well, we expected a very close match. You don't want Indy to get their momentum and their confidence back towards the end of this set. So you want to try to finish this as quickly as you can. Good sprawl by Murr. And Ajani Teeler, very, very smart shot by Teeler, number 19 in white for Indy.
It's important to recognize who's on the other side of the net in the front row playing defense. Murr picks that ball up, and then Teeler recognizes that Abercrombie's playing defense, but has sucked into the middle of the court, and that sharp ball drops.
I thought so. This is a good timeout. This is a good timeout called by Amy Pauley. We talked about the first ever PVF All-Star match coming up in Indianapolis, in Fisher, Indiana, if you will, and Michelle Collier, who's done a fantastic job for the Yellow Jackets at Georgia Tech, and Dave Shondell, Hall of Fame coach, and what a family, what a tradition in the Shondell household. They will be the All-Star match honorary coaches coming up on the 22nd.
And Dave Shondell's brother's actually on the bench for the Indy Ignite team here today.
Yeah, that's John Shondell. Their father, Don Shondell, was the godfather of Midwest Volleyball, founded the MIVA, the Midwest Intercollegiate Volleyball Association, coached at Ball State for years and years, and the Shondell family has left a legacy in support and development of the sport of volleyball that would be very, very difficult to match.
The volleyball coaching tree started with him. Incredible.
Yeah, amazing. 23-18 is the advantage. Indy feeling a little bit better about themselves right now, and that's the point you were making, Holly. Orlando most likely going to win this second set, but Indy feel a little bit better about themselves, finding some rhythm. Here is Hilly. Anai is good in reception. Good coverage, Joust coming. Teeler, and puts the ball away off of Shampoo.
Indy right now with a lot of defensive momentum, and they've been able to score. Backs against the wall, down by 4.
23-19, there is Ajani Teeler. Get you her numbers, a 5-1 run now for Teeler and Indy. Tough serve, boy, that's a break. That one just caught a puff of wind and just drifted out of bounds. Adora Anai back to serve, set point number 1 for the Valkyries. Going for that short serve again. Murr on that, forces the overpass. And Courtney Schwann points right back at Adora Anai. That's the way to follow the game plan.
Really good response from Orlando to come back after that first set. And the serving, especially behind Natalie Foster, was one of the keys. And that one by Anai gets Indy in trouble.
What we expected. Really good job by both of these teams, and a good response by Orlando, taking the second set 25-19. Natalie Foster putting on an absolute show from the service line under pressure in the opening set, and then continued that along in the second. Came in with 13 aces, and she's now got 17. Let's go over to Holly McPhee.
Natalie Foster, wow, your serve is incredible, and you've only been doing it, what, a year and a half?
I've been doing this serve for about a year and a half, yes. I started honing it in a little bit more at SMU this past year in the spring. Yeah.
What's been the biggest adjustment to the pro level for you?
The biggest adjustment is just the different level of play. There's a lot of competitive people out there. They know the right shots, and you just got to adjust to that and make sure you're making the right moves.
After the first set loss, what was the huddle like, and what did you guys say to come back and win that second match?
We really just wanted to stay in it, stay aggressive, and play as a team.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Back to you, Paul.
Thank you, Holly. Natalie Foster, the rookie, 6'4" rookie middle blocker out of SMU, putting on an absolute show from the service line already with 4 aces. And in that second set, she dialed up 3, and Orlando never looked back. We're tied at a set apiece. Welcome back live once again to Orlando, where Fox Sports proudly presents the Pro Volleyball Federation. Second meeting in the early 2025 season between Indy and Orlando, tied at 1 set apiece. The first meeting was won in Fisher, Indiana by the Ignite, 3-1. Back with three-time Olympian, bronze medalist, NCAA champion, Holly McPeak. I'm Paul Sunderland. You just talked to the star of the night, Natalie Foster, but she continues to be the story, not only with the 4 aces that really set the tone in the second set, but also hitting 714. What's going on?
Kills. I mean, she's a rookie having a huge impact in this league, and it's so fun to see these athletes get the opportunity to play at this elevated level and evolve into incredible players having a huge impact.
And for all intents and purposes, when Natalie Foster got finished at the service line after dialing up 3 aces during this stint, that second set was all but said and done. That was incredible.
And she was on the service line 14 times. She is winning the rotation war in terms of serving. More points scored when she's on the back line for Orlando.
And some pretty good balance right around the dial. Anai with 8, Kaz Brown. That's a good number to go along with Foster as well. And Brittany Abercrombie maybe needs a little help on the pin.
I agree. When she's in the front row, Courtney Schwann is that left side hitter, and she hasn't been that effective offensively. That would take some pressure off Brittany Abercrombie on that right pin.
Third set getting underway here momentarily in Orlando. Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox Sports. Third set coming up right after this short timeout. The Super Bowl tomorrow between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Travis Kelce going for 3 in a row. Never been done before. Who do you like?
I like the Chiefs. I don't want to be a front runner because I know they're trying to win again, but you know, our producer is a big fan of the Chiefs, so I'm going to support the Chiefs.
Well, a production company is based in Kansas City.
Yeah,
They're a little bit excited. They were very happy I was wearing a red tie. Numbers after a couple of sets offensively. Very good for both teams, well above their season averages. Kills to the advantage of Indy, and defensively also the advantage to Indy. We're tied at 1 set apiece. What'd you think of the change to the 2 libero situation for Amy Pauley in Orlando?
I liked it, but the big factor was Natalie Foster on the line. And if you're
Nice tuck down inside. Critical kill by Courtney Schwann.
You and I talked about it. Courtney Schwann needs more offensive production on that left side to free things up for Brittany Abercrombie on the right.
Sorry for some technical difficulties. Very glad to be back with you. Courtney Schwann just registered a very important kill, very important for Orlando to get her into the mix. Dug by Shampoo, just underway here in the third. Abercrombie. Indy has done a nice job so far on Brittany Abercrombie, the outstanding opposite. Tipped out of the back row, good read by Shampoo. Adora Anai, you have to absolutely adore that.
I'm loving the defense on both sides. Watching Alani see a flying back set to the back row attacker, Adora Anai. Beautiful Orlando transition kill.
Anai now with 8 kills, been busy on 24 swings. Nice read on the short serve. Chap down inside. Nina Chajic, very impressive.
Indy that it just surprised Courtney Schwann, that defender, in the sharp angle.
Chajic now with 13 kills on 30 swings. Abercrombie off the block, dug by Chajic, kept alive. Good play off the floor by Murr. Good set in transition. Ajani Teeler is stuffed. Big block that time by Foster with some help on the outside from Schwann.
I am loving the defensive effort. Indy just doing everything they can to get the ball. And then Natalie Foster drops her right hand, taking that sharp angle swing away from Teeler.
Look who's at the line. Was a set changer in another ace.
Cue the music, right? I mean, we need like the Jaws music or the Darth Vader music, something like that.
This has to be a PVF record in the second season. This is 5 aces through 2 sets plus 6 points. Teeler going off speed. Good play defensively. That might have been Foster as well. Membremenez blocked.
For Orlando, their confidence and just aggressive plays at the net defensively goes way up with Foster on the line because they play ahead of their opponents most of the play.
Give you more on Natalie Foster's service line, and oh my goodness, Natalie Foster has now served 17 times. She's missed one. and has 6 aces.
The consistency was
Unbelievable.
So impressive. Time after time, never lets up.
And the 7-1 advantage, that ball finally off the block and out of bounds for Johnny Teeler.
Teeler, that time going flat off the hand. Got blocked, trying to swing inside the block, changes it up.
Just another thought on Foster from the service line. Both of us have seen a few volleyball matches and a few players. Is that one of the best serves you've seen in the game?
Most definitely.
And right back at you. CeCe Crawford with the service ace. Well, there is a franchise in Vegas, so there's a lot of aces going on right now. Good serve by Crawford. First ace as a team for Indy. Anaya, very good overhand receiver. What a swing. That ball well inside the 3-meter line by Abercrombie.
Brittany Abercrombie shows so much range, cranking that ball sharp, but Johnny Teeler trying to defend it sharp in the angle and can't come up with it.
Pro Volleyball Federation having locations in beyond the game. We are growing the sport of volleyball, building community around the sport, and empowering world-class female athletes with top-tier resources. Who Athletics, the largest volleyball-only apparel company in the United States, is the official uniform apparel partner of the Pro Volleyball Federation. From custom design player uniforms, stylish off-court apparel, and an array of fan gear, Athletics is the driving force behind it all. You're up in the official Pro Collection apparel today. Available exclusively at realprovb and provolleyballshop.com.
Well, you'd like to pass, set, and hit if you're Indy, but if Natalie Foster is at the service line, that is an incredible challenge. We've seen this serve, but not like this. Not with this kind of effectiveness. Here's a look.
Watch the pace, super fast off her hand, very flat, goes deep into the court, doesn't give the passer enough time to react with her platform. It's the pace on that ball in the depth in the court that makes it tough to pass.
And you look at her aces, the ones down the line, that was off of Chayich, who's a very, very good receiver, but most of them have been in the back meter and a half of the court.
Natalie Foster is 6'4", so that point of contact very high.
18 serves, 6 aces, 1. She's missed 1 serve out of 18. And her team, most importantly, Blake Moeller missed that ball out of bounds. That's an unforced error. But her team, when she left the service line, was on top 7-1. Now the 9-3 advantage tied at 1 set apiece. Indy won the opening set 28-26. Behind Foster's 4 aces, coming in the second set, 25-19. Kaz Brown snapping over the top, good play by Murr. Chased down by Chayich. That slide combination right now between Shampoo and Kaz Brown is special.
And it's the pace. It's really fast to that pin, and that allows Kaz Brown to work through some big seams. But the short serve from Orlando's Brittany Abercrombie set that whole play up.
Short serve once again, handled by member Mena, and Teeler missed it down the line. Good discipline on the block not to reach out.
Johnny Teeler says, my fault. She liked that set by Sydney Hill. He just tried to go outside the block, turned it too wide.
Timeout is called by the Indy Ignite. It's really important for them, according to their head coach, George Pageant, because they are on the small side, no question. You talked about it before first serve, Holly. They've got to be in system a lot more than their opponents, and right now they're losing that battle.
Indy Ignite likes to beat you with speed, but they've also got to score some balls out of the middle, and you have to pass well. The middles right now for Orlando winning.
And speaking of the passing numbers, positive or good passes only 41% right now for Indy. The other night when they lost 3-0 to Omaha at home, they passed 40 and 16. Volleyball fans, want to remind you, coming up, special event at the Fishers Event Center in Indiana. We'll host the inaugural Pro Volleyball Federation All-Star Match February 22nd, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to stop by provolleyball.com to buy your tickets to be there in person. And if you can't, Holly and I and a cast of thousands will be there as well, coming your way on CBS. Really looking forward to that. We've been to Indy just last week. That event center is a special volleyball venue. About 6,500 people. It's a perfect size. Outside to member Mena, exploding inside. All right, so after the opening set won by Indy, 25-19, all the Foster show, and now 11-4. What does member Mena and Indy need to do to turn this around? Because everything going the way of Orlando right now.
They need some big stops, and they need to clean up their passing game. It's tough when Foster's on the back line, but over-communicate, maybe pull another player so you have a four-man serve receive to try and take that dangerous serve of Natalie Foster away.
There is a Johnny Teeler, huge the other night in the losing effort, 14 of 19 in the attack phase, and no errors, very clean. Say Shampoo has done a very nice job setting the offense since the opening set for Orlando. Teeler out of the back row, looking for a touch, and she's got it.
Johnny Teeler hitting that D ball, and she's going deep into the court. That's what makes it tough to dig.
What's the D?
The D ball is the behind the 3-meter line on the right sideline.
And the pipe is down the pipe.
Pipe is down the middle.
Kaz Brown again, what a dig. Dug by Teeler. Remember Mena going off speed, ball deflected, nice play by Abercrombie. Smart shot by Schwann, resetting the point. Must have if you're Indy trailing early. Dug down the line by Murphy. Good snap, looking for a touch and missed out of bounds. That's a break for the Ignite.
Quick swing, and then Teeler, one-arm stab, gets it high enough that Hilly able to put it back to her left side hitter.
We are going to have a challenge, the second so far in the match. Orlando is challenging that there was a block touch against Indy on that high snapper by Brittany Abercrombie. Abercrombie wearing number 6 in blue, 6'2", was the 2024 Athletes Unlimited champion. She's second in the league in points per set at 4.5. Each coach gets 2 challenges per set. Both challenging for a net touch. I thought for sure they were challenging for a block touch. And there is no violation, no block touch. So it was block touch that they were challenging, and that ball out of bounds by Abercrombie. Give you Abercrombie's numbers. She is now 7 of 26. This is well below her season averages, but still Orlando leading the way here in the third. Tied at a set apiece. Good pass by Schwann. Kaz Brown and Natalie Foster are having big nights in the middle.
When you can score out of the middle, that's the highest percentage attack, and both middles for Orlando having a fantastic night, and that really takes the pressure off the pins.
Short serve once again. Nice read by Murr. Member Mena at times. A little bit of payback against Shampoo, who's gotten Member Mena a couple of times.
The short serve has been working. Murr takes care of this one, and then Lecator Member Mena accelerates off that ball down the line, this time keeping it high so Shampoo can't get her on the block.
Anai, pass, and from reception into attack, and that ball missed out of bounds by Anai. Good serve to start things off by Member Lecator Member Mena.
Mouthful.
It's a beautiful name.
It is.
I've said it hundreds of times between her collegiate career and now into the PVF. Oh, big serve, handled very casually by Anai, and Abercrombie, nothing casual about that.
Indy Ignite had scooted their pin hitters in to put up a triple block on Brittany Abercrombie, and she goes deep to that corner. Beautiful location.
Just a slice of the end line. Again, Shampoo is doing a really good job. Thai setter, played professionally in Japan and her home country, as mentioned. Abercrombie again, no Foster out of the middle, having a magical night in Orlando.
Shampoo needs to get that ball a little bit higher to Natalie Foster. At 6'4", she's long, just a little bit higher so she can get that ball over the tape. But it's quick arm, that time drops in front of Murr.
Natalie Foster now with 7 kills on 10 swings, no errors. 5 aces, and just having a heck of a night. Once again, the rookie out of SMU. A memorable night for Orlando, and timeout is called by Indy, now trailing 14-8 after dropping the second set, 25-19.
Sam Erger, the head coach of SMU, told us in the fall, she said, look, this girl has a $1 million arm when referring to Natalie Foster, and now we're getting to see it at the next level, and it's really fun to watch. Just
developing day by day, match by match. Orlando comes in with a record of 4-4. A very impressive performance at Atlanta on Thursday night, hit 340. Foster in that one was 5 of 9, no errors, so she's continued that hot streak. Well, Indy comes in, a very narrow loss at home, their first home loss to Omaha, 25-23, 25-23, 25-22. Omaha hit 309, but right now it is all Orlando. Orlando tied for 3rd. 8 teams in the second year of the PVF. Indy joined the league this year. It's their first. They will host the All-Star match coming up on February 22nd. That's coming your way on CBS. And Indy is tied for 2nd. Vegas currently on top with a very good record of 7-2. That time off of Chayich and out of bounds. And it's the middle blockers again. Really good serving. Foster's been the biggest story, but Kaz Brown joining the party as well. It's not often when your middle blockers are serving the most out of all of your players. Tough serve again, and back-to-back aces. That'll go down as a winner, I think, but there was no second contact. I think that should be an ace.
Serving strategy for Orlando. They've been catching Indy Ignite deep, but that one dropped right in the middle of the court, catches them by surprise.
Technical timeout. Kaz Brown leading the way along with her rookie teammate, Natalie Foster, for the Valkyries. Franklin Sports is a proud partner of the Pro Volleyball Federation, coming your way on Fox Sports. Welcome back live to Orlando, Central Florida, where the Stars are out tonight. A couple of the top scorers in the league, and Brittany Abercrombie and Lekitor Member-Mene, the top 2 setters in terms of assists, Sydney Hilly, along with Shampoo. Shampoo has been doing, in my opinion, an outstanding job running this offense. Your thoughts on her performance so far?
We talked about the production out of the middle for Orlando. They've got 15 kills out of the middle from both their middle blockers. That's because Shampoo has been working that connection. For Orlando, they've only been able to get 8 kills out of the middle. So Shampoo doing her job, getting all the hitters involved, and they've really turned things around since the first set.
That first set was won by Indy 28-26, but since then, it has been all Orlando. Chayich has cooled off a little bit, having a very, very strong night. We'll give you her numbers momentarily. Chayich now with a dig, number 23 in white out of Serbia, and that's a good kill. Jani Taylor off the right side.
Indy able to run this back row attack, a C ball to Jani Taylor. That's inside from the D ball that's on that right pin, and Jani Taylor works it quick into the angle for the transition kill.
Cooled just a little bit after a very hot start. Nina Chayich now has 13 on 32, hitting over 300. Exceptional numbers. Anai tried to throw that one down, and having a little bit of a chuckle at that one. You can when you're leading 16-10. Carly Scott now on the floor to serve and play some defense for Indy. Indy got to have this. Nice first contact by Scott to Chayich. Dug by Murphy. What a play. Murphy playing left back and roaming. Chopped down the line, dug by Abercrombie. Very good first contact by Member Mena, but Indy can't do anything with it. Scott, that ball set tight. Long rally. Indy's going to get another chance, and they need it. Dug by Anai. Member Mena out of the back row. Chayic again getting a lot of work. Dug by Schwan. Fantastic point by both teams.
Defense, defense, defense. Keeping the ball off the floor, and finally Chayic able to score on the left pin, but everybody on the court breathing hard after that one.
44 digs now as a team for Indy, 37 right now for Orlando. Yeah, look at Chayic sucking it up right now, and with good reason. And Foster, how'd you like to be a middle blocker in that rally?
Oh.
Covering a lot of real estate. Still 5-point advantage for the Valkyries. Easy serve, handled by Anai. Abercrombie going over the top. Nice play by Scott. Into the middle, no. Out to Chayic through the block. Dug by Murphy. Really good swing by Abercrombie, but just missed it out of bounds. Quality swing. Timeout is called by Orlando. Amy Pauley, much like, remember, the momentum going to the side of Indy at the end of the second set, was going to take no chances. And in spite of the 4-point advantage, Amy Pauley in her second year, former assistant coach for Brad Keller at USC, associate head coach there, calls a timeout.
Volleyball is such a big game of momentum. You do not want to let Indy get back in this set, especially with a pretty commanding lead early on in this particular set.
Yeah, very, very comfortable lead. It was all smiles on the side of Orlando, and with good reason. Another good serving run by Natalie Foster with some help from Kaz Brown. 14 digs alone by each team in this set, in the third set.
The defense has been incredible, and as the season goes on, I mean, there's a scouting report. Everybody knows what everybody's running. So the defense that's being played, you just have to execute at a high level.
Well, and Brittany Abercrombie, who's at the top of everybody's scouting sheet, she right now 8 kills on 29 swings, hitting 138. On the season, she's hitting 289. So Indy's done a good job there, but the serving and the setting of Shampoo and the production out of Kaz Brown and Natalie Foster and Adora Anai has been really solid. Shannon Scully on now to add some receiving. Actually played a match at the libero position when Georgia Murphy was under the weather. Very good volleyball player, and they go right at her and a perfect pass. Into the middle again to Foster, dug again. Member Mena is just patrolling the back line, and Foster again. Wonderful sequence between Shampoo and Foster.
Setter middle blocker connection, so crucial, especially with the free ball. Fastball to that right pin, and Natalie Foster uses that $1 million arm to crush it down the line.
Shampoo back to serve, and once again Orlando going with the 2 liberos. We've talked about Georgia Murphy a lot. Delani Osia in as well. She's in to dig, Murphy in to receive. Abercrombie going over top, Hilly is there. Good set in transition, Chayic. On the D, dug by Schwan. Scully, what a good swing. Shannon Scully. I thought she was in only to pass and get out of that rotation. She stayed on for Schwan.
And her legs aren't that warm, so she wasn't as high as she'd like to be, but look at the location of that attack. Coffin corner.
Hit 300 so far on the year. It was 80 degrees here today. Her legs should be just fine, but I do know exactly what you mean. Oh, that might have been going out of bounds. Saved by Teeler. Chayic again off speed. Abercrombie ripping. And Ajani Teeler, that one won't come back.
That ball hit high and fast to Ajani Teeler, who couldn't get her platform or arms under that ball defensively.
You talk about Brittany Abercrombie with Amy Pauley, and talks about how professional she is about everything. Her diet, her rest, getting in the training room, her focus in practice.
She does not take a play off.
No.
I think that's contagious when you're part of a team. Somebody's playing like that, you want to be just as good for her.
Along with Ajani Teeler, among others, an early front runner for most valuable player. Leah Edmond got off to a little bit of a slow start trying to defend that title, but coming on for Atlanta. Scully again, dug by Murr. Scully is blocked. Ajani Teeler along with Cece Crawford. You know who else in my mind gets into the MVP mix?
Who?
Alicia Glass-Childress.
Yeah.
That is-
Ajani Teeler, one of the best blockers in PVF. She and Cece Crawford, huge Indy Ignite block.
Good play by Abercrombie, restarting the point, and then high off the block that time of Crawford and out of bounds. Very good swing.
I've been really impressed with Nina Chaich and her defensive stops on the left side. She's way over the net. Very disciplined with her block. That one gets tooled, though, for Orlando.
You mentioned Ajani Teeler. She played middle, kind of a hybrid middle in college for Craig Skinner at Kentucky. Hit 261. But she's among the league leaders in blocks, and she's an outside blocker.
Exactly.
Doesn't get anywhere near the number of opportunities as a middle blocker.
Ajani Teeler has some of the best hands over the net and great eye work that makes her a really elite blocker.
At only 5'9". Oh, a service winner, this time by Chaich. Boy, they are really targeting Scully, who's just come into the match.
And Shannon Scully is an excellent passer, but when that ball is going deep away from her platform, that plays into an ace.
Still the 4-point advantage for the Valkyries. Third set, tied at 1 apiece. Nice reception by Murphy. Dug by Murr, and that ball tapped down by Schwann.
Ball dug too tight to the net, and Indy cannot get a swing out of it. Orlando continues to roll.
Mentioned that Scully had come on for Schwann because Schwann was on the sideline momentarily. She's actually come on for an eye. Look who's at the line. Off that serve, that was a pretty good pass. Point scoring opportunity. Good set in transition. Abercrombie cutting inside, dug by Teeler. Member Mena. Good Foster doing everything. A bump set, now setting the ball overhand. Free ball, and thrown down. Smart play by Kaz Brown.
Wow, 3 players on the ground for Indy Ignite, and Kaz Brown stays aggressive. Natalie Foster coming in with the transition set. Beautiful delivery.
And the bump set before that was even a better location. Doing it all in a big way is number 13. Another tough serve. Dug by Schwann. Good swing, high off the block and out of bounds. Orlando rolling again after Indy made a bit of a move.
Shampoo kept that ball quick and fast out to Schwann, who's able to go flat to that corner. She's very successful with that swing.
Natalie Foster has now served 20 times and missed 1.
The in-house DJ needs to figure out a theme song for her every time she goes back there.
Free ball for Orlando. Where do you go? Do you go to Schwann? No, to Abercrombie. And over the coverage. And a score for Indy. A little bit unlucky. That was a good swing.
Lecator member Bennett did the work with her hands to turn that back into the court. They tried to hit outside of her. Watch her left side blocker. Late getting there, but her left hand turned back into the court. Catches Orlando by surprise deep.
The lead is 23-17. Good pass by Schwann. And Kaz Brown again. Tattooing the sideline.
Heavy swing by Kaz Brown. She was coming all out power in this angle. Courtney Schwann, great platform pass, and then Kaz Brown going sharp for the Orlando kill.
Very experienced international player, France, Greece, and Germany. Set point number 1. Wonderful swing by Ajani Teeler. She's had the hot hand. Number 14 of 19 in the losing effort at home against Omaha, and then continuing that tonight. So 1 set point save, but still many more to come for Orlando. Elena Scott out of Louisville on to serve. For the set, Schwann. Nice dig by Scott. Boy, we've seen that a few thousand times at Louisville. What a swing by Member Mena.
Elena Scott in the back row, in to serve for Indy and spark a scoring run. Comes up with a big dig to set up that point.
3-time All-American, 2 times the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Abercrombie for the set win. Touch off the block, ruled that it touched Moeller. Boy, not a lot of middle attack. Member Mena along with Nina Chaich, but you pointed it out, Holly, not a lot of production out of the middle of the court for Indy.
Sydney Hilly just has so much confidence in Lekator Member Mena. This is a big play to save the match. She goes to her go-to player, number 7 in white, Lekator Member Mena for the kill.
13 kills on 31 swings. Member Mena, again, having a spectacular night. Indy comes in with a record of 4-3, Orlando at 4-4. And when you look at the standings, 2 teams have separated. Got to be honest about this. Right now, Las Vegas is on the good side of the separation at 7-2. And congratulations to Columbus. They lost their first 7 matches, got their first win yesterday. So 1 team at 7-2, 1 team at 1-7. But other than that, talk about a traffic jam. And we both live in Los Angeles, so we know an awful lot about those.
I do.
Look at that. Indy now tied in the loss column with Omaha, and then Orlando also tied in the loss column through 8 matches for 3rd place.
The margins.
Yeah.
Every single match, in order to win, you have to execute at a high level. You need depth if someone's having an off night. And I feel like this year, better than last, PVF has talent across the entire league. And then obviously on the bench, we see so many rookies having an impact on this league.
Natalie Foster, certainly a headliner in that category tonight. Well, Indy's got a chance and must turn this around, otherwise they'll be facing a must-win situation in the 4th set. We're tied at a set apiece. Orlando, there's Natalie Foster. 6 aces through not even 3 sets. Trust me, it's a record, okay? Trust me. Set point number 3. Schwann pretty good in reception. Kaz Brown on the slide, good cover by Abercrombie. Schwann. And missed, what a good swing. Quality swing again, just missed it out of bounds.
Courtney Schwann saw that sharp swing open, goes for it, and just missed by inches.
Scully right in the middle of the reception. You want to keep it off of the libero Murphy. And Scott does, good pass. Slide again. Shampoo, cleaning it up with Kaz Brown.
That particular combination, Shampoo to Kaz Brown, so fun to watch.
We will take a timeout here in Orlando. Kaz Brown and the Valkyries, 1 set win away from another victory. once again where Fox Sports proudly presents the Pro Volleyball Federation, and the Orlando Valkyries and their fans are very proud of their two middle blockers so far on the evening, putting up absolutely gaudy numbers.
21 of 38, 0 errors, both hitting 500. I mean, when your middle can score like that, good things will happen.
Kaz Brown has served 14 times. The point scoring ratio is crazy, and then to add to that, Natalie Foster putting on
A clinic.
one of the best serving performances I have ever seen so far tonight. Served 21 times, missed once, and has 6 aces. The only thing that comes close is at the 2016 Olympics, Ivan Zaitsev went back to the line with the United States. Ivan Zaitsev playing for Italy went back, and over the period of about 5 minutes between timeouts and challenges and other stalling tactics by the United States, dialed up 5 aces. Was unbelievable.
For you to say it's one of the best serving performances that you've ever seen, that's a lot.
Well, but I'll ask you the same thing.
Well, no, but you've seen a lot more volleyball than me.
You've seen a lot.
I grew up watching you. It's true.
I grew up admiring you. Just underway in the 4th. It is Natalie Foster and the Orlando Valkyries up 2-1, so must-win situation right now for CC Crawford. Nina Chajic, nice play by Shampoo, kept alive by Delani Osea. And again, this time by Shampoo. What an effort by Kylie Murr as well. Good swing down the line by Nina Chajic.
Bodies flying everywhere to keep the ball off the floor. Osea, Shampoo for Orlando. Here you see the little touch and then everything you can do to get the ball over the net.
His two libero system.
Murr
Yep.
joins the party.
Yep. Been very, very good as well. 2 liberos being deployed right now by Amy Polly and Orlando. Georgia Murphy is in reception, and Delani Osea is in when Orlando serves. On the overpass, it was close, but that one just missed that time by Adora and I. Vocal leader, Member Mena, doing everything tonight. 12 digs along with 12 kills. And that serve is missed, and a side out early on, and Natalie Foster, get ready, serving for the 22nd time, which is a ridiculous number in a good way. Member Mena, did she get a piece of the block? Did not. That ball ruled out of bounds, so a hitting error for Lekater Member Mena.
I'm looking at the Indy Ignite side of the net. 3 rookies on the floor. Sydney Hilly, Lekater Member Mena, the only true pro veterans out there.
There is Taylor, good hard swing. Ajani Taylor going off of Schwann.
Hilly spreading the offense, going fast to the left, fast to the right. And Taylor beats you with speed. Murph, beautiful pass.
Taylor played here in Orlando last year. Abercrombie, what a good swing into the cross court. How many balls has Brittany Abercrombie missed by millimeters so far on the evening?
Good swing. Shampoo changing directions, long string set to get this ball to Abercrombie.
Kaz Brown with a tap, dug by Hilly. Joust coming, and Blake Moeller wins that one. That was a battle between she and Kaz Brown.
Love the celebration by Blake Moeller in the middle. Fantastic dig by Hilly to keep that ball, and then the tight set. Blake Moeller has to go up and battle.
First lead in a long time right now for Indy. First lead since the opening set, which they won 28-26. Kaz Brown, anything up there, she loves to throw down. Good block deflection. Chance in transition. Shampoo, double contact is called. Shampoo, and you talked about it, Holly, going away from Schwann an awful lot. They're loading up. They being Indy are loading up on Abercrombie.
Georgia Murphy getting to the bench, and now Nalani Yosia on the court to play defense for Orlando.
First team I ever saw do this was Italy several years ago. They had a receiving, when they changed the rule that you could play with 2 different liberos. Now you have the option. We've seen it some. Perfect first contact out to member Mene. What a good block touch. Kaz Brown really working hard. And Abercrombie through the block and down in trans.
Defensive block touches are so important, and Kaz Brown, one of the best in the game for Orlando. She sets up this transition opportunity because of that block touch that keeps it alive for her backcourt.
Indy was very much in system, as they will be here, so really good blocking move. That time off the inside combination. Johnny Teeler with the kill.
I love a good combination, especially when you've got a quick attacker like a Johnny Teeler who can do that.
Teeler now with 14 kills on 26 swings, hitting just under 400. Another big night offensively. Kaz Brown off the edge. Murr trying to track that down and can't get there for Indy.
Good pursuit by Murr to try and get that ball with her left hand and bring it back. Just falls a little short.
Kaz Brown is now 13 of 25, no errors. Her counterpart, Natalie Foster, is 9 of 16. Fantastic combination out of the middle for Orlando. Difference in the match. That missed by Schwann. We will have a technical timeout when a team reaches 8, another when a team reaches 16. And beside that, each team has 2 timeouts of their own and a couple of challenges and a partridge in a pear tree.
This is a must-win set for Indy.
Trailing 2-1, they won the opening set and then have been outplayed, quite frankly, in the last 2 sets. A lot of credit to Anai and the rest of the Valkyries. Chaich loves that line, but missed it. Missed it just wide, did Nina Chaich.
Nina Chaich puts so much pace on that ball. Trying to go cross-body, she's had success, but Indy now down by 1 in this must-win 4th set.
I would much rather be able to fly. That's awesome. I would love to have an incredibly loud voice. I think our team is super loud and super outgoing, and I think that's just a great quality. I would rather be a superhero. I'd rather have a pet dinosaur. I basically already have one of my dogs, so.
Fourth set, must-win situation right now for the Indy Ignite, and Brittany Abercrombie, along with Leketer member Mene, number 1 and number 2 in points per set. This is what they've done so far on the evening. Everybody loads up.
Yes, you know, Leketer member Mene gets 33% of the sets. That's tough. Everybody knows the ball's going to her, so teams, they scheme to try and stop her. And same thing with Brittany Abercrombie, 31% of the offense goes to her on that right side.
And with member Mene and Indy getting very little production out of the middle, she's hitting against a couple of big blockers each and every time through. The number 1 scorer in the league so far, and the Pro Volleyball Federation on your left, and Brittany Abercrombie, number 2 scorer on your right. And they're just, you know, tenths of a point apart. Kaz Brown, very impressive once again back at the line. 8-7 is the advantage. Orlando leading 2-1. Overpass, and Natalie Foster. Of course she didn't hit it out of bounds.
Kaz Brown setting up her counterpart, Natalie Foster, at the net for the overpass kill. That's impressive.
Can challenge several areas of the game, but not in or out. That is done electronically. Another very good flat serve. Teeler Johnny Taylor unloading for Indy, back within one.
I like that combination a lot for Indy because they send Moeller on a slide. And that opens up the defense wide, and you see the big seam between the middle and left side blocker, bringing in Taylor for the C ball.
Anai, a really good overhand receiver, but this time from receiver to attacker, and that's shut down by CeCe Crawford of Indy.
CeCe Crawford, fantastic defensive stop in the middle, one of the best middle blockers to ever play at Wisconsin, and doing it at the pro level now.
That's saying a lot. Dana Rettke there as well. Former National Player of the Year, now playing in Europe, an Olympic silver medalist. Anai battling here with Hilly. Good block deflection. Taken overhand by Murphy. A chance for Abercrombie. And that is going to score. Remember, Mena couldn't quite get there. Boy, so much energy. How hard does she play? Offensively carries a huge load. She's 5'8". Every jump is 100%.
And she did not jump at practice today to rest those legs because she has to max jump every time. And then she plays middle back defense, so she's in every play, tracking balls, running balls down.
Averages 3.7 digs per set. That's sixth best in the league, and that's in the mix with all of the bros. Easy serve to Chaich, not perfectly handled. Taylor again. Ajani Taylor really starting to heat it up, and Hilly knows where the hot hand is.
Sydney Hilly likes to bring her inside and then push her wide, keeping the block on the left side for Orlando, guessing where she's going to set that ball.
Perfect delivery by Hilly, and that ball served into the top of the tape. But serving has been a huge story, as it always is. Serve pass, but Natalie Foster again. An incredibly memorable night as Adora Anai goes back to the line. Third set. That was the 7th tie so far here in the set, back and forth. It has been all Orlando since the opening set. Won the second 25-19, the second. Had a big lead, and then in the third had a big lead, won it. Oh, that ball is blocked by Schwann along with Foster.
Courtney Schwann, number 4 in blue, not having the biggest offensive night, but doing the little things. Passing, this time she gets out in her position. Wall, beautiful press back into the court for Orlando.
Serve and block defense go hand in hand. That's what's so unique about volleyball. It's the only game where your defense starts when you have the ball. And what a serving performance so far all night long for Orlando. Kaz Brown and Adora Anai and Natalie Foster, just incredible. Libero Murphy is on to receive. Nocia will be back on when Orlando is serving. There is the hardest working floor wiper, Conrad Volsch. He is really a hard worker and hustling. Nice dig by Hilly. And then off speed, Shampoo with the read. Tough chance that time for CeCe Crawford. Ball wasn't clean, too tight to the net.
Missed opportunity for Indy on that ball. Got to pull it off, allow one of your teammates to transition, set the ball.
Foster back at the line, a record-setting night, serving for the 24th time. She's missed 1 and has 6 aces. Taylor, nice play off speed, knowing Foster is playing left back.
And that's a win for Indy Ignite, getting Natalie Foster off the back line on the first play.
You know, the All-Star game is coming up on the 22nd in Fisher, Indiana. Do they have a category? Can you vote now just for the best server you've ever seen?
Do we get a vote?
Abercrombie, good block touch by member Mena. Taylor, Ajani Taylor took a little bit off, and a beautiful set that time by CeCe Crawford.
Agreed, I love the hand set. CeCe Crawford, a middle blocker by trade, but high volleyball IQ. She does it all. Watch this high transition set by CeCe Crawford with her hands from the backcourt.
Trying for the short serve, Crawford missed it. We saw her counterpart, Natalie Foster, step in and very comfortably and confidently dish that ball up. Josia back on as the defensive libero. Short serve, they got it on Moeller. The middles have been very, very quiet for Indy. Good swing, what a dig by Murr. Kaz Brown on the slide. Block deflection is there, free ball coming. Schwann able to tuck that ball down inside of Blake Moeller.
Shampoo gets that ball fast to Schwann, who's able to work it inside the middle blocker who's chasing for Indy. Watch this fastball. You see Moeller chasing that ball. Hands are not quite pressed over the net yet, and Schwann makes them pay.
We'll have a technical timeout at 16. It's 15-13 is the advantage. Remember Mena hitting against two big blockers almost every time, and just too much velocity working it through Shampoo and Kaz Brown.
Shampoo got a good touch the first swing, but the second time, Lecator member Mena a little bit more pace, working off the inside hand, the seam of the block for Orlando.
14 kills on 37 swings. Shampoo and Sydney Hilly, as advertised, have been brilliant running the offense for their teams respectively. Good reception. Elena Scott on with the dig. Could have been called a double. It was not. College volleyball, most people know that the double contact rule was changed. You could double the ball on your own side. If it stayed there, if it went over, then that was a violation. But right now they're calling the doubles in the PVF. Technical timeout, we'll step aside. Orlando trying to close it out. The Valkyries, they're Norsemen, if you will, and 16-14 is the advantage. Well played match so far. If you're just joining us, Indy won the opening set 28-26, but since that time, or particularly in the second, third, it was all Natalie Foster, Kaz Brown, Shampoo the setter, leading the way 25-19, 25-21, and now leading it. Indy has been challenged offensively, especially since they're not getting much out of their middles. Formula now, Holly McPeak, to get Indy back in this.
I'd like to see more middle production. If they can't do that, they still need to clean up their passing. Passing has been the one thing they've been allowing Orlando to score too many points from the service line.
And speaking of middles, on the sideline, Lydia Martin, who's been very, very good offensively. We saw her last week in Indy over Orlando, but she has yet to get on the floor so far tonight. Excellent dig. Anai ripping into the cross court. Murr says, what else have you got? That could have been called a double. Letting them play, and that ball out of bounds. That's a break for Indy. That is the first hitting error by a middle blocker for Orlando.
Incredible.
And we're talking, we'll give you the total number of swings. That's 44 swings, that's error, 45 swings, that's error number one. Remember Mene, tough serve, and we've seen that happen twice tonight, and there's no excuse for either one of them, but at least each of them are guilty.
Communication so important when that ball's coming over the net. If you think you're going to let that ball go out, somebody needs to tell you it's in.
Remember Mena carrying such a big load, not only offensively, it gets all the headlines, but gets served really a lot. Shampoo with a good chase. Tight pass. Hilly not very offensive-minded as a setter. She's had a lot of balls up there on the top of the net.
I agree. That happened a couple plays ago, and I thought she could go up and attack that a little better.
Carly Scott back on, two-time All-American for The Wolverines at Michigan played here in Orlando last year. Indy at 4-3, Orlando at 4-4, tied at second and third respectively. Good overhand pass by Anai, and Foster again on the slide.
We've seen Natalie Foster a lot coming out of the middle for that quick one set, but she's had a couple really good-looking attacks behind the setter.
Foster now 10 of 18, hitting .556. Scott handles that easily, and remember Mene, nice play by Yosia. Good smart shot to reset the point. Anai again. CeCe Crawford with a deflection. Out of the back row, dug by Yosia. Chajic, Nalani Yosia, digging balls out of the libero.
Love to see it, and now we know why she's there. Left hand gets under it, lifts it back up, keeps her team alive in that play, and then Anai resets and gives her team the opportunity to score.
73 digs for Indy. What a battle defensively. 61 now for Yosia for Orlando. You look at Orlando, beat San Diego. We were here for the season opener, then lost at Indy. We talked about that. That was back on the 11th. Won at San Diego, lost at Las Vegas, lost again at home to Las Vegas. Vegas is leading the league at 7-2. Lost to Grand Rapids 3-2, and then beat Omaha 3-0. And it just seems that Orlando has found a little something with a two libero system, and Natalie Foster not playing like a rookie any longer.
And the production out of the middle offensively drives your hitting percentage up, and they've been able to score at a much higher clip since we saw them early in the season.
Orlando is picked to finish second. Indy has lost 3 of 4 coming in, including the loss to Omaha the other night, in which their fine head coach George Padgett said was their worst performance so far of the year. Omaha is very good, led by Brooke Nuneviller, among others, but it was very close.
Yeah, in their worst performance, they hit 242. They had 3 deuce sets, so it was close. It's just cleaning up those details and trying to find areas of your game where you can score more points.
Indy really up against it right now. They need a good first contact, and they get one. That's good enough. Chajic must have this free ball. Scott steps in, right side to Crawford. Block defense by both teams is really good. Nice play by CeCe Crawford off of the outside hand of Anai.
Sydney Hilly going to her middle. CeCe Crawford for the transition kill off the slide. I like it. More production out of the middle will stress the block on the other side of the net and also help spread. You've got a one-on-one, basically CeCe Crawford against Anai on that left pin.
Murphy, excellent reception. Natalie Foster again. Can you say Rookie of the Year, at least based on tonight?
I mean, front runner for sure. Natalie Foster, 13 in purple. Georgia Murphy lays that ball into Shampoo's hands, and then a wonderful crossbody attack by Natalie Foster, who identifies the block going the other way.
20-17. Shampoo really playing good right back defense. Schwann going off speed. The ball deflected. It'll get to the floor.
Well-timed, a little off-speed shot, and Keeler hanging in the air. One of the problems with jumping so high, you're up in the air and it's hard to turn and get it because you're hanging.
Super Bowl coming up tomorrow, 6 Eastern. You're staying on the East Coast to enjoy the parks with your beautiful son.
I am. Disney World until 5 p.m. and then the Super Bowl, of course.
Orlando 4 points away. And that ball just out of bounds, well left that time by Member Mene. Nina Chajic, who really struggled on Thursday night, all credit to her, came out with a very, very hot hand. Now 17 of 53. Orlando has really adjusted to Chajic. Different numbers in the last couple of sets. Member Mena. Tough chance for Abercrombie, didn't have much of an approach. Chaich, good play off speed, good decision.
Shampoo was on the run, but the location of that tip to the middle of the court. Well played, Murph with the one-arm stab. Triple block, and then right between Murphy and Shampoo for the kill.
Amy Pauley, the second-year head coach for the Valkyries, taking no chances. Have a chance to close this out. Indy back within 2.
This Indy team is so feisty. You do not want to let them get back into this match, catch momentum, and battle into a 5th set.
In other Pro Volleyball Federation action, Omaha was a winner over Atlanta earlier this evening.
Edmond keeps it alive.
Leah Edmond leading the way for Atlanta. Made some changes in their lineup, and a good win for Omaha. This was on the road once again. Brooke Nuneviller leading the way for the defending champion, or the reigning champions, I should say, the Supernovas. Reagan Cooper, one of the top players last year when she was with Columbus, is now playing in Omaha. There are the updated standings. Omaha improves to 6-3. Still tied in the loss column with Indy. Vegas on top. 7-2. Alicia Glass-Childress leading the way at the setting position, getting really good performances out of the Hannahs and Charity. Charity Looper, a very good start to her professional career.
Coming off an amazing collegiate season, career as well.
Kinematics. Nicely done. Good timeout by Amy Pauley. Settle things down and get the ball to your leading attacker.
Really important first ball side out there for Orlando. And guess who's on the back line?
I don't need to guess. What a performance. Teeler and Foster can't get the ball to the floor. She served 25 times. Missed one. And every serve has been incredibly tough.
There's no let up. She does not ease up on it.
Our next PVF action on Fox is Thursday the 27th. We head to Indianapolis, or outside in Fisher, where the Ignite hosts the Vegas Thrill. Those are the league leaders. And Brittany Abercrombie off speed, and prior to that with a good heat off the inside hand of the block. She now has 14 kills on 48 swings. Orlando just 2 points away. Remember, they lost the opening set. Good coverage that time. Member Mena into the cross court, dug by Schwann. Member Mena, and missed it out of bounds. We're probably going to have a challenge. Communication now between the first and the second referees, and we will indeed.
Team Indy is challenging a block touch.
Particularly with the scenario of what it is in terms of must-win situation for Indy. Christian Krishak is the first referee. Wesley Radigan is the second referee. And there is Mr. Radigan, and he's in charge of the flow of players in and out and making sure that the challenges are done in the most expeditious manner possible. You can challenge touch off the block. You cannot challenge ball in or out. That's done electronically. You can challenge a net touch, and the foot faults on the center line, 3-meter line, and the end line. 2 challenges per set per team. And if you're correct, you just keep rolling along.
Amy Pauley on that short break, telling her team to stay disciplined, low and tight on their block.
You see some movement in Kaz Brown's ball's out of bounds. Johnny Teeler's pointing up at the Jumbotron. So that ball is ruled out of bounds.
I did not see anything.
Lydia Grote is coming on, the rookie out of the University of Minnesota for Orlando, the 17th overall pick. Sister Marin plays for Grand Rapids.
No setter on the floor for Orlando.
Match point, the first of 4. Member Mene, right side, Ajani Teeler, block deflection. Anai steps in, right to Grote. Welcome to it.
Lydia Grote comes in cold and takes a big transition swing. That ball was set well off the net. She was able to take an incredible swing to finish the match in Orlando's favor.
A really smart substitution, and here's match point once again. Well, so Orlando wins at Atlanta on Thursday night. They win 3-1 over Indy back at home. Your thoughts?
Orlando's playing really good volleyball. They're spreading out the offense. Their middle production was incredible, but their serve, you win the serve pass game, you're going to win a lot of matches because the margin very small at this level.
Natalie Foster, 12 of 20, 6 aces, served 25 times. It's arguably the best serving performance I have ever seen.